So it's been roughly 6 years of me owning this Continental GT. And I thought today would be a good time to talk about the kind of experiences I've had with this bike and the kind of stuff I had to do with it in order to make it more compatible with my taste. Starting off with the backside of the bike. Now, I really do not like how the original bike looks from the factory. It seems a bit bulky, has unedged corners, and seems more protruding towards the outside, a bit lengthier according to my taste. So what the first thing I did was shorten the tail. And for that I depended on the company called the MK Designs. It's based off in Faridabad and provides a shorty tail kit which can be retrofitted into the bike with some chopping required. Now, don't get me wrong, the rear end of the original Continental GT can suit the needs of a lot of retro lovers. But for me, I wanted a neo retro style, which sort of like tapers into the back. And for me, this style that comes from MK Design is a no brainer. So the first thing that I had to do was obviously chop the chassis of the bike and fit into the kit that was provided by the MK Designs. Now, MK Designs was not able to provide a retrofitted version of the tail light. It provides an LED strip, which might or might not suit your needs. For me personally, though, it was not visible enough and could possibly create a traffic hazard. When it comes to the tail light itself, I was able to procure the necessary parts from MK Designs by giving them like a custom order. They used to make these back in the days when it was starting out as a newer company. But nowadays, you might have to look for other alternatives if you're going for a circular headlight. And when it comes to the indicators, one of the major issues that you're going to run into is to find a mounting point after you have chopped your GP. And for that, having a metal strip constructed in a similar fashion from MK Designs could help. These mount directly on the rear suspensions and provide a firm grip to your indicators. As for the indicators, these are made in billet aluminum and are durable enough in my 5 years of use. Moving on to the next topic. Now, when you chop off your rear end, one of the major issues that you're going to come across is having water splashes, especially when you ride in the rain. Now, since the original Continental GT has the rear fender extending way beyond the tire length, you won't have water splashes. But as soon as you chop it off, you're going to have a lot of issues, especially when you're riding in the rain. Now, what I've come across were rear fenders that go directly into the GT, which also come from MK Designs. The only issue with these fenders is that they're really short, and having them alone won't sort your problems. After going through a lot of trial and error, I figured out that it's really necessary for your tire hugger to be in place, especially when you're going through potholes. Unfortunately, we might have potholes at some of the most unexpected places, and having a rear tire hugger which stays on its place is a blessing. Now, as for this one, since this one mounts directly to the lower end of your rear suspension and also has like a securing bolt underneath it, this one isn't going anywhere. And these are the tire huggers, which comes with a license plate mount from MK Design itself. Finally, moving on to one of the most beautiful aspects of the rear end of your bike is the rear fender. Now, when it comes to the options for the rear fender, I didn't have a lot of options aside from the ones that were prefabricated by the company that sold the shorty kit. So instead of going through a lot of research and development, what I was able to do was, with the help of my local technician who runs a shop called Moto Arts in Prayagraj, I was able to construct a rear fender using the front fender of the Himalayan 411. Now, this might not look like much, but having this is a big lifesaver when you're riding in the rains. So, what exactly have I learned?
Firstly, even though the shorter back makes the GT look cooler, it's definitely not worth it if you're looking forward to having a co passenger or a pillion with you during a ride. Secondly, it also eats up on your luggage space, and you would have to rely on something like the pannier rails to have some chance of taking your luggage with you.
Now, I understand that a lot of people buy this bike purely for the way it makes them feel. Keeping the emotional aspect aside, though, it's best that you keep your rear chassis intact for the long run. Not only keeps your bike's resale value up, but also helps you take on adventures without worrying about where you're going to keep your luggage. So I think this is it for today's video. There were some other modifications which I did, some of them being a side mounted license plate, which I had to get rid of because the police would often stop me and ask for my license number, and providing a challan or a fine for that. And I barely had any other modifications on my bike, but that was not sitting well with the cops. So I had to get rid of that. And for the next video, I'm planning on doing a review or a discussion on the front end of the bike. So stay tuned and stay subscribed.